Welcome to CML Infotech. Today we are discussing about NAT, Network Address Translation, NAT. So the question, why do we need a NAT? Or what is the purpose of NAT? So mainly, the NAT is using for two reasons. Number one, let's say we have 2 raised to 32 IP address, which means 40 94 96 7295. This is the total 2 raised to 32 values. So every user, when they connect their device to internet, that device must need IP address. So let's say I have 2 devices. When I connected to internet, I will receive 2 IP. The way you guys will connect, you will also receive an IP. So if I connected to internet and I'm having an IP, that IP address will not get it to any others in the universal. So that's fixed. ഞാനൊരു IP എടുത്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എൻ്റെ IP ലോകത്ത് വേറെ ആർക്കും കിട്ടില്ല. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കിട്ടണമെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ ലോഗ് ഓഫ് ചെയ്യോ ഡിസ്കണക്ട് ചെയ്യോ അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ചെയ്യണം. So think this is the total number of IP and the population is more than this. So any people who coming after this number, if they try to connect it to the internet, they cannot because there is no free IP. Therefore, they came up with a concept called private IP and public IP. Private IP, then the public IP. What's the difference between this private IP and public IP? If a person connected to a public IP can visible or can reach to the internet. If a person connected to a private IP, he cannot get the internet. Let's say I'm sitting here in the corner. My system connected to the switch. Whoever is connected to the network world, whether mobile, whether iPad, laptop, access control system, CCTV system, building management system, whatsoever, whoever, even the fridge, washing machine, or any equipment, television, TV, any equipment which connected to the network world required IP. Okay, so now when I connected to a system, to the switch, of course I need an internet. Even if my system IP is private, then I will not get the internet. If my system IP is public, then of course I'll get the internet. We're coming back to the point. Because of shortage of IP, they came up with a solution called private IP and public IP, which means, let's say in my organization, let's say CML, in my organization, I have 100 employees. Okay, each employees, I have given one laptop, which will be connected to the internet and they need IP, or which will be connected to the network, they need IP. And each employee will also have mobile, which will be connected to wireless LAN system, Wi-Fi, also need a IP address. But from the entire organization, from the entire organization, I may have one or two internets. Let's say QTEL line. The QTEL is the public area. When I purchase an internet, they will give a set-top box. They will terminate their connection to here, either fiber or copper. And from here, it will be connected to our network. So every internet line which we receives also has IP address. Idinam or IP vano. So this connected to an internet, so it has an IP from public range. So the people who are here 100, even though they are getting internet, they are sending their internet traffic with a single public IP. In this side, I have another organization, let's say A organization. I have 1,500 employees connected here. They have 1,500 laptop and 1,500, let's say phone. So total 3,000. So they need 3,000 IP address. In addition to this 3,000, in the organization, they have a camera, they have a Wi-Fi, they have access control, and many others. Also that require IP address to those. Then these people will also have an internet from either from QTEL or from Vodafone connected to their premises. And this single line will address with a single public IP, one public IP. And here also one public IP. So when the 3,000 people going out to get the internet, those 3,000 IP address will go out with a single public IP. So here, the two solution is coming across this. One, if I'm using one IP address here, example, let's say 172, range of one IP. This company CML can also use same set of IP, 172, because they are not directly connected or they are not directly communicating with the same LAN. Okay, so here, when this CML people try to communicate to a group of people, they go via public, they go via internet. Therefore, everybody can use same set of IP within their organization. Then, if the company has more than 100, 200, 500, 1,000 employees, they may have one or two internet maximum. So those IP, which are called public IP under the internet, will be unique. Let's say this QTEL team given one public IP to CML group, that the same IP will not give to any other premises. But within that premises, whichever we used, the same set of IP can be used with anyone in their world, in their network, in their organization. Because they are not knowing each other, they are not communicating each other. The benefit in the this lack of IP address can be overcome. This lack of IP means if we don't have the private IP, public IP concept, means if my system who are sitting here assigned one IP cannot be used the same IP anywhere in the world. But in this scenario, this IP become considered as a private. Therefore, the same IP can be used in any other companies, other places. Example, I'm sitting in my room. I have IP address communicated. If you look into your network where you are sitting, and if you check about your IP address, are the same as mine. But even though we are not conflicted, even if we have the same IP address or same set of network, but we're not conflicted. We are communicating in a good manner, which means our IP are called private IP. And we are communicating through public IP. So the private will go to the public, then the public will go to the private. So the shortage of IP within the given range are overcome. So to get the IP, to avoid the IP shortage concept, they came up with the solution private IP and public IP. Private IP within the organization, which are not in the internet, by the way. Whoever is directly connected to the internet, like ISP peoples, are having public IP. Like private sectors or anything outer side of internet are having private IP. So let's say one benefit for having a private IP, one benefit to overcome the shortage of IP address, it came up with the private IP and public IP. So let's say this is internet, received line to you with a set of box, connected to your network, switch, and you are sitting here. You need to go to one of the server in the internet. If you maybe you are typing google.com, maybe you are typing Yahoo, Hotmail, or some other websites. Whichever site that you give will go to the respective site and will get back with the requested info. So here you may see many servers in the internet. So your IP is a private IP. And here it is public IP. If you are using same public IP, which means the IP, your system IP can be visible to the others because you all are in the same public IP. But here, the system IP is a private. So you're going out to get the request. You left from the system, went to the switch, going to the set-top box. Somewhere here, your private IP will be converted into public, either within your device or the device given by the ISP. Then it will go to the internet, coming into internet server, and you got your request coming back. So here within the internet, there are many hacker or some other man in the middle spoof. Many hijacking threats can be appeared in the internet. So people like, example, I'm sitting here and I'm watching your traffic. I want to hijack your data. So I need to reach your system to steal your data. So how do I know which is your system, or what is the way to reach your system for me? One of the way that I'll catch your IP. I'll look into your IP. I will reach you based on the IP address. Let's say mine is public. This server is public. And your destination IP or source IP is public because here in this point has been converted into a public IP. So you're coming back. When you're coming back, you know the public IP. You're following him with his data, reaching towards to this product. Here when it reached this product, either by ISP product or your own product, will convert your public into a private. When your device converted the private IP back to the public IP back to private, I lose the connectivity because I do not know the private. I know only public, which means I can reach from the Google or from respective server until to the end of public. Public in the end this device will convert that public IP into a private, which I don't know. I cannot to reach. So this we can also consider as a security. if people sitting here who knows the private IP need to hijack something in the internet, he will also come along with us, try to go out, but from here, this private will convert again to a public. So the private can not know that what is the public IP for hijacking. So it's called it as a security. So one benefit for having NAT, the shortage of IP by creating private IP and public IP. ഒരു ഇഷ്യൂ IP അഡ്രസ്സിന്റെ ഷോർട്ടേജ് അത് ഓവർകം ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് പ്രൈവറ്റ് IP പബ്ലിക് IP എന്നുള്ള കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് വന്നു. അതാണ് നാറ്റിന്റെ ഒരു ബെനിഫിറ്റ്. സെക്കൻഡ് ബെനിഫിറ്റ്, പ്രൈവറ്റിൽ ഇരിക്കുന്ന ഒരാൾ പബ്ലിക്കിലേക്ക് പോകുമ്പോൾ പബ്ലിക്കിന്റെ IP ആയി മാറി ഇന്റർനെറ്റിനകത്തേക്ക് കയറും. അവിടെ ഇരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ഹാക്കറിനോ ക്രാക്കറിനോ നമ്മുടെ സിസ്റ്റത്തിലെ ഡേറ്റനെ സ്റ്റീൽ ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ, ഡേറ്റ എടുക്കണമെങ്കിൽ അവര് നമ്മുടെ ഡെസ്റ്റിനേഷൻ IP സെർച്ച് ചെയ്ത് നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ വരും. കാരണം അവരുടെയും പബ്ലിക്, നമ്മുടെ ഡെസ്റ്റിനേഷൻ IPയും പബ്ലിക്, നമ്മൾ പോയ സെർവറും പബ്ലിക്. അങ്ങനെ നമ്മുടെ സിസ്റ്റത്തിന്റെ, അതായത് നമ്മുടെ ഒന്നിക്ക് ISP തന്ന പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ ടോപ്പ് ഓഫ് ദ റാക്കിൽ ഇരിക്കുന്ന മെയിൻ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് മീൻസ് which is talking to the internet, maybe a core switch, maybe the firewall. Always in every organization as a reality, before entering to our network, like core switch. So before the core switch or in between core switch and the ISP line, they must be having a firewall which can do all this filtering and all. Now, when the packet coming from the internet with a public IP as a destination, people like a hacker cracker can also join with them to reach our network. When they reach to the respective either their product or our firewall, once it reached, this public IP will convert back into private. So they lose the connection, they cannot reach in because they don't know the private IP. So this procedure is called as a NAT. So what is NAT? Converting private IP into public and public IP into private, vice versa. This is called it as NAT. Network address translation, converting private IP to public IP and vice versa. Who will do this? There is a specific device which we require to do this. Generally, when we have an internet, the device given by the ISP, we call it as wireless router or modem or Ooredoo device. That specific device will do this all functionality. Or else we have to have a device called as a firewall, or sometimes the router can perform the same functionality, will perform NAT. So this is the overview of NAT. So what is the purpose of NAT? Converting this is your LAN, this is your LAN, and this is your WAN. And here you have a server, and you're standing here. You are surfacing like www.google.com or www.cmlinfotech.com, something, whichever you like it. When you put this specific website address in your system or mobile, this traffic will go out. This traffic will go out. After crossing the LAN, you must need a device here. If your home internet, like what we have right now with us, we have a device from Ooredoo or Vodafone, which has the capability to convert our private IP into public and vice versa, which means they can perform NAT. The device can perform NAT. And here, this will go to the internet. When it's going out, this is a private IP. This private IP, when this device is converting them into public IP, and it go to the respective server, will take the required information from there and coming back to the same system. So let's say it's coming back. When it reached here, this public will convert it into private. This is called security. So the people from here and there cannot reach each other to hijack anything. So here we need to enable NAT. If this device is not performing, we have to have a device which can perform NAT solution. Generally, that device would be firewall from any vendor. Like the one of the vendor is called Cisco, which has Pix firewall, the old one. Then they have a ASA, the next firewall. Or we can go ahead with Juniper, which called SRX. Or there are many other vendor products which we can use anything for doing this NAT solution. This is one of the benefit. The second benefit, if we don't have this facilities, of course, security is one of the concern. Other than that, if you don't have this private IP, public IP concept, whoever is connecting to the internet will get the IP, will not give to another. So when it reached the quantity, like 2 raised to 32, 4294967295 digit, when it crossed that limit, the remaining people cannot connect to internet. So the lack of IP availability will be solved by this, by giving the private IP and public IP concept. Okay, so this is the base idea about NAT. So as a summary, NAT is used to convert private IP to public and vice versa for the security reason. So let's say network address translation. NAT is used to convert private IP to public and vice versa. Then we have to learn some terminologies like private IP, public IP, and all. We call it the private, we call it as a local. The public, we call it as a global. Inside means source. When we send something from A to B, A is called inside or source. The outside means the destination, the receiver end. So these are the four terminology which will be used to address the NAT concept. So here, if you look into this design, so let's say this is the switch one customer end. This is your switch. You have a PC with IP address. So before we moving to this, we will learn one more topic. Private IP and public IP. So let's say private IPs. Class A, we have a 3 class address. Class A 10.0.0.0/8, which means complete address from 10 networks. So if you have a network in class A, we have a network from 1 to 126. So until 1 to 9, and from 11 to 126 are public. Only the digit 10 start with and the complete values for private IP. And class B, we know that the class B start from 172 and the second octet can be anything from class A, B and C, any classes. Only the first octet will be determined by which class it is, first octet. The second, third and fourth can be any value from 0 to 255. So let's say this 172, 16.0.0 until 172, 31.0.0. So here, because of /16, the third and fourth octet are host to portion. It can be any values. But here, if you look into this 172.16 until 172.31, because of class B, first two octet must be considered. So if you have an address 172.15 or above, would be private. Starting from 16 until 31 within 172 considered as private in class B. So as an example, if you have 172.32, it's a class, sorry, it's a public IP. Or instead 172, if you have a 170, 171 or 173, that's the public IP. Then we have class C, which is 192.168.00 until 192.168.255.0 24. So here you can see this class C, the first three octet must be matched. So starting with 192.168, any value 0 to 255 considered as private IP. So in our design, here we can see this 192.168 10.2, which is private IP, needs to go to internet. And there's a blue line, consider it's going to Google server. And here I put the IP address 11.0.0.2. 11 is the public IP in class A. And you can see 25, which is also public IP. So after the black circle, the above complete area called WAN, wide area network. Now, the system should go to internet and come back. For that, we require a NAT solution. So when we considered NAT solution, there are three. Actually, until now, we just explained about the NAT functionality, the benefit of the NAT. And when we do start implementing NAT, there are three ways which we can do. Out of three ways, the first two are outdated, not using nowadays. We have the final NAT, but for study purpose, we have to learn it. Those three NATs are called static NAT, dynamic NAT, and PAT. Static NAT, dynamic NAT, and PAT. As a summary, static NAT means if one system required to go internet, it required one public IP. Let's say in my company, if I have 10 people who needs to go to the internet, I need 10 public IP. Keep in mind, one public IP, which is equivalent to one internet. If you have an internet, which means you have one public IP. According to static NAT, number of private systems, private device equivalent to number of public IP. Dynamic NAT means again the same concept, but instead of binding individually, we will create a pool and we'll put it in the pool. Okay, we'll just talk about static NAT, inshallah. Okay, so it's easy concept, easy way to implement as well. We will add access list into NAT, either static, dynamic, or PAT, anything. Hope you understand the basics. So we have discussed today about NAT and their concept.